Hi, I'm Pam with Organizer AZ 911, and in this tip clip I wanted to talk about organizing our sentimental items. It's a very hard topic that a lot of people face because these sentimental items are very close to our heart, so it makes it a lot more difficult when it comes to organizing them and keeping them in special places. So what I want to do is jump right in and say that in organizing your sentimental items, I do like to follow the 5 basic steps to organizing pretty much anything. And those 5 steps can be represented by one word, and that is space. Remember the word space when you're organizing. And it stands for, the S is sorting, purging, assigning, containing, or containerizing, whichever way you want it, and equalizing. Okay, so it says the word space. Those 5 steps we can pretty much apply to this, and I will go through, but we're going to kind of modify them. Okay, the first 2 steps are sorting and purging. So we're going to kind of put those 2 together first when I talk in this video. So I suggest that you take and collect all your sentimental items throughout your entire house. If you're storing them in a box, somewhere in a closet or your attic or your basement or the garage, get them all out. Every single item that you have that you consider a sentimental item. That's its basic only purpose. And I want you to bring them in. I usually suggest that if you have a full-size bed or larger, that is a really great area to do sorting and purging. So take them all out, put every sentimental item on your bed to begin the sorting process. Now, as you're going through, if you have been putting them in boxes, and as you're opening up the boxes, if you find yourself saying, "Oh, I forgot I had this," that is a huge clue that you no longer need that. You don't keep anything, don't have it take up valuable space in your home if it's something that is forgettable. Okay? So that's your first sorting. As you're going through and taking everything out of the boxes that you've been storing them in the locations, if you say, "I forgot I had this," let it go. Okay? So now you have the rest of the items sitting on your bed. Now, another part of the sorting process is thinking about when you're looking at all these items, ask yourself, is it the item that is special, or if it's the memory that the item represents is special? Most of the time, almost 9 times out of 10, we hold on to items, sentimental items, to help trigger a memory. It is not the actual item that holds all that importance. Some do, but the majority don't. It's a memory guide for us to our past experiences that we enjoyed. So if you come across when you have everything out on your bed, look at it, and if you say to yourself that if you can actually hold an item and say, "Oh, I remember this thing," and the actual item isn't the special part of the memory, but it's the memory, take a picture of the item as a memory trigger, and then let the item itself go. Because let's face it, when you take pictures, these little things, the flash drives or these little memory, they are so much easier and so much smaller to store than the actual item itself. So any item that is just simply helping you remember, take a picture and let it go. Okay? Then you will be left with the actual items that are most precious to you. Okay, so now we have sorted and you have purged, hopefully purged, some of the items. And then we get to the next 2 steps of assigning a location for it and containerizing, finding out the appropriate container. Now, here's the thing. When it comes to a container, I would almost like to flip it and say, not make the C represent containers, but creativity. And I'm going to explain what I mean by that. When you're holding on to sentimental items, these are cherished memories of your past, right? And you should honor those memories and not store them closed away in a box. They should be out for you to enjoy daily, to recollect about daily. So I hesitate telling anyone to pop it back in a box and store it away. You need to share the stories so that those stories can live on. And if it's put away in a box and you're not looking at it for years, you're not honoring the memory it represents. So, but if you have no solutions, your house is such that it really can't hold a lot of sentimental items out in the living space, then I would also tell you and recommend, when you're going through the container step of the organizing process, to use one box. Usually they're about 60 to 70 quart size. It's a good size box, but it's a one lifetime box for you. It's not a box this big for every 5 years of your life. That's not paring things down and really keeping what's truly special. Because if you have so many boxes of sentimental items, and it's just hundreds of them, there's an old phrase that if everything is special, nothing is special. So what you keep as sentimental items, these cherished memories, should indeed represent the cream of the crop, so to speak, the best of the best. So one big 60, 70 quart box per person in your household for a lifetime should be what you try to strive for, okay? Because that truly means that these are the best of your memories. The reason I said swap out container for creativity is because I really stress honoring those memories. Become creative and find ways that you can honor the memories that these sentimental items represent. So I have some suggestions on that. You heard me say take a picture of the item because, again, these little sticks are so much easier to store. I want to talk a little bit more about the picture end of this and what you can do to really honor the memories instead of just putting them on these discs, throwing them in a little container, and not looking at these either. First of all, in taking a picture, it's going to last longer. These little babies will last a whole lot longer than a lot of the material items. I would also recommend having a backup to these. Never always just put it in one place. If you want to put it in the cloud, store it, all your photos, or make another disk or a flash drive, and then store that in a separate location. If it's not in the cloud, store it in a separate location, whether it's a bank deposit box or at a relative's house. Reason being, heaven forbid if there were a catastrophe, a fire, a flood, an earthquake, a tornado, whatever the case may be, the one thing we can never replace are our photos, all right? Everything else in our homes are, our lives and our photos, of course, lives number one, but our photos, that's what everybody's always the most upset about if they lose their photos. So have a backup, whether it be storing them in the cloud, whether it be, you can create a DVD or you can just use these, put it in a separate location, all right? That's number one. Now, with some of those photos, do something creative with them. There are so many different frames out there to really make a statement about a picture. I like using collage frames so you can have a whole idea incorporated into the collage of photo frames. Shadow boxes allow you to keep thicker items, more three-dimensional items, not just a flat picture, where you can hook it on and you can actually have the item in the shadow box frames. I recently we had a really good memory of my dad when he dressed up as the Lone Ranger he had a Lone Ranger movie night at his house, and he surprised the kids, dressed up as the Lone Ranger and chased my kids all around his house. They were having a gunfight and he arrested them, and he even gave them 3 silver bullets, each of my kids a silver bullet. So what I did was we took a picture, of course, of my dad. There's my dad. He never did that when I was a kid. Different guy as a grandparent. Anyway, he's dressed up and my 3 kids there, they're all holding the bullet. And here's the actual bullets, and I glued it to the frame and I put the Lone Ranger. And we hang it in the spot that we can look at it daily and honor the memory of that moment. So with your pictures, try to think of something creative to do with it. I've often used, if you have a blanket or some kind of fabric, an item of clothing, I will have the picture of a person wearing it or whatever would represent, that item in a photo, and then I take the fabric and I actually make it like a mat or a framing around the photo. Again, you have a tangible item that you can look at and honor and hang on your walls and enjoy it daily. Another thing I would suggest to do, now you can't do that with everything. If you have like 200 photos, you can't just line your walls with all these frames. So what I have always, which I think is a brilliant idea, if I just say so, and it's been done, it's not my own, is create a sentimental journey book, so to speak, and take all your photos and create a book out of them. But not only just to stick the photos in, you know, with all the programs they have out there, even with iPhoto, Snapfish, all the different ones, you can create where you can actually put a description of what was special about this picture. So you can create a book that can go on for generation to generation and hand it down. And it'll be a book where not only you identify all the people in the picture, you say why the picture is special, you know, tell about the story around it, so that you have an actual sentimental journey through this book. And you can keep it out on your coffee table, and you can literally have hundreds of them in there, beautifully bound, and a nice treasure to hand down and let the memory live past your own life from generation to generation. So that's another thing you can do with your photos. Now, some other things you can't really put in photo, like or a frame. You can, but here's another suggestion. With certain items you might that are small in particular, that may not look right in a frame, you know, because they're so tiny. I would say if this works for you, make a Christmas ornament out of them. My mom used to make Christmas ornaments out of everything. We used to have a joke that if we sat still too long, she'd put a hook in our back and hang us on the tree. But it's a great way to hold on to your sentimental items and celebrate them every year. And then you're not having to find storage for them in a different way. And I wanted to, as a parent, one of the things we keep, and I know it's kind of quirky, but everybody does it, is we keep their teeth, our children's teeth, when they lose them. And we keep their first haircut, the lock of hair that we get on it. This is a perfect opportunity to use a sentimental item like that and create an ornament. Now, around November, you will see the craft stores. I don't know if you can see that. They have little ornaments. This is plastic. They have them in glass too. But it was a heart. Here's a little square one. They've got really kind of cool, they have all sorts of shapes. Here's a real big one. Now what these are great for is you can, like if you have a blanket, you can actually cut up little pieces of it and fill this, and it actually gets very colorful depending on the fabric you're keeping. Going back to the teeth and the hair, I used the heart one, and I made, if you see, I don't know if you can see it, there's little teeth in there, the baby teeth. And on the front, I took a picture of my son with his toothless grin, and then I took just glitter, glued glitter on it in his favorite color. And I have, like, this is blue for my oldest son. My youngest son, he likes the color green, and so his are green, and my daughter's purple, so hers has a purple glitter. But now every year we just hang their teeth on the tree. This is what everybody sees, but I know that the sentimental value, the teeth, are inside of it. And I did the same thing, I'm sorry if I'm shaking this around, for the hair. I've got the little locks of hair I could stuff in there, and then I put the picture of him getting his first haircut, and then again put the glitter on it just to give it, you know, everything's glitter at holiday time. But create an ornament out of it. One last thing, and I'm just trying to give you a couple ideas, and I really, like I said, instead of containerizing, I wanted you to think creatively in the steps of organizing. And I welcome any ideas you have, but I'm just trying to give you some ideas to get you started on what you can do with the sentimental items you keep so that you honor the memories. Now, I have come across a lot of times with with my clients, they save a lot of books, especially, again, this is, you know, a parent thing, your child's favorite book or a whole group of them. I've actually had many clients who keep stacks of their children's favorite books in hopes of, you know, either they're going to give it to their children when they have children, or they want to read it to their grandchildren when they come back. But honestly, we never know what's going to happen in our lives, and we always hope that we're going to be around for when our grandkids are here. But you know, sometimes things happen. So what I would suggest, if you have a whole bunch of their books that you think are very special and that you're holding them because it holds a special memory of the times you read to your own child. Take a video of you reading it, whether you shoot from a camera angle over your shoulder, or you do the teacher approach, where you're demonstrating. Read it. Take a video of you reading the book. You can either do a DVD or digitally or, any way, but store it that way. And then hand that to your kids so that they can pop a DVD in of grandma or grandpa reading a book to their children. Sometimes we're in different states. You can't be there and Skyping's not working because of the time differences. What a wonderful way to have you there reading a bedtime story to your grandkids when you're, halfway across the country. And then you can honestly let these books go. Donate them to a library. Donate them to any charity. Don't hold on to these piling up dust and mold for years and years and years. Create a memory that'll last a lot longer than these. And that is create a video and then have them see you reading to the, generations down the road, and they can keep passing that down. So those are just a couple of items, and like I said, get creative with it. Now the final stage was, I said, equalize. It was the E in the word space. And equalize simply means maintain it. Do the steps that you need to maintain it. And that means if you find something in the present or the future that is you're going to hold on to for sentimental reasons. Again, if you have put it into a container, keep it as a limited container. If the container is full, something has to go before something new can be put in. Equalize things. Don't create more boxes, all right? And again, if a new item comes in, instantly put in your mind, how can I honor this special memory? And start going through the steps. Do I want to take a picture? Do I want to create something out of it? I would love to hear. Those are the basic steps that should get you through sorting through and organizing your sentimental items. I welcome any of you to provide some creative ideas for you to use in using our sentimental items and creating things around our house that we can look back on and honor the memory daily. So please, if you have any creative ideas you want to share about what you can do with your sentimental items, please leave them in the comments below. I'd love to not only hear them, but if I get enough of them, maybe I'll make another tip clip just on ideas. So if you want to leave it there, you can also leave a comment or an idea on my Facebook page. Email me directly at info.organizeraz911@gmail.com. Either way, like I said, anyway, we love to share those ideas and get them out there. All right, I'll leave all the links below this video to all my social pages, and like I said, I'd love to hear your creative ideas. I'm Pam with Organizer AZ 911. Thanks for watching.